Hi yogis, and welcome from my home to yours. For our practice today, you will need one bolster. If you don't happen to have one of these guys handy, if you have a pillow or two pillows, you can also use those, neither stacking the pillows on top of one another or just using the one. For our first pose today, we'll be bringing the bolster towards the top of your mat, and we'll come onto our hands and our knees. So starting on hands and knees. And we'll bring the tops of the feet down onto the mat, big toe mounds to touch. The knees will come out towards the sides. And then we're going to bring our bolster underneath the front line of our body. So depending on how long your pillow is or how long your bolster is, we want to be able to support the front line of our body and so that our head can rest down. So bringing the knees as wide as it feels comfortable, our hips towards our sit bones. We'll begin to walk the palms out. You can keep a generous bend to the elbows, and we'll be bringing our right ear down onto our bolster. Maybe the arms walk out a little bit further. And just observing what sensations come up here. And this time, maybe observing the breath through the low back. Feeling the inhale as the low back begins to expand. And the exhale as it waves down the length of the spine. We'll be holding these poses anywhere between 1 to 5 minutes. So allowing yourself this time to ease into the postures, taking our time, observing if there's any tension as we settle into the pose. And can we find this balance between tension and ease? Taking 3 more rounds of breath here. And then we're going to switch over towards our left ear. Continuing to focus on our breath. And if there's any lingering tension, can we breathe into those areas? So imagining that space filling with air. And this exhale as it begins to soften, release. And then beginning to walk the palms in towards the body, beginning to rise up. And we'll set the bolster off towards the side just for a moment here as we bring the knees together and then extend the legs out in front of the body. We'll be bringing the bolster underneath our knees so the heels of our feet will plant down onto the mat. And bring our bolster underneath the knees, and you can walk the sit bones farther or closer in towards the body. If you find that your pillow or the bolster is too high up, you can even remove it from underneath. And then begin to find some length through the spine. And then on the exhale, hinging from the hips, we begin to fold forward over towards our thighs. The arms can fold over top of our bolster, rounding through the spine, shoulder blades draw away, and the head can begin to relax back and the neck is soft. And just allowing our spine to relax. Feeling the muscles of the face soften towards the mat. An option if you'd like to remove the bolster from underneath. Maybe the legs begin to extend, and maybe we keep a soft bend of the knees as we fold over top of the legs. Meeting yourself where you are. Observing if there's any areas of tension or resistance. Can we breathe and soften into those areas? Observing where the sensations are coming up through your body. And on an inhale, we'll begin to rise up. And then we'll plant the soles of the feet down onto the mat, bending through the knees, shifting the sit bones up, and then we'll come to lie down on our back. So taking your time to arrive here. And the palms will come to rest on top of the belly just for a moment. And keeping the right sole of the foot down onto the mat. On an inhale, draw the left knee in towards the chest. And you can catch for behind the thigh or the top of the shin, whichever is more accessible today. And if you find that the shoulders and the neck are lifted, you can also find a belt and bring that behind the thigh so that you can draw the leg closer to the body as the forearms stay rested down onto the mat. Maybe the right heel extends to the top of your mat, rooting through the back of the heel, back of the knee. Just observing if that changes any sensations. Maybe it does and maybe it doesn't, and that's okay. The left sole of the foot will plant down onto the mat. And on an inhale, draw the right knee in towards the chest, catching for behind the thigh or the top of the shin. Maybe the side feels completely different than the other, and that's okay. And if it's comfortable on this side of the body, maybe the left heel draws to the top of the mat, rooting through the back of the heel, back of the knee. And on the exhales, maybe the knee draws in just a little bit closer. It's okay if it doesn't. Just meeting our body where it is. We'll plant the right sole of the foot down onto the mat, bend through the left knee and plant the left sole of the foot down. And then inhale, both knees will draw in towards the chest this time, catching for behind the thighs or the tops of the shins. The knees are going to begin to draw out towards the sides of the body. And maybe this is where we stay. Maybe the arms draw in through the thighs. And you can take the index finger and the middle finger around the big toes. And then option to extend the heels up towards the sky. You can also bring the palms to the outer edges of the feet. And the low back stays rooted down, shoulders are rooted down, maybe the chin tucks in towards the chest. And staying here as long as it feels comfortable, or the heels will come back towards our sit bones and the palms rest on top of the shins or behind the thighs. You might even find a gentle rock from side to side if that feels comfortable in the body. And then the knees will come back in towards one another, planting the soles of the feet down onto the mat. And this time we're going to find our bolster, or maybe one or both of our pillows. We'll come up to seated just for a moment here, taking our bolster, bringing it about an inch away from our low back. We're going to come to lie down on top of our bolster, opening up through the chest. And you can keep the soles of the feet rooted down, arms alongside the body, palms facing up to open through the chest. Maybe the palms come to rest on top of the belly, bending through the elbows. And if it's comfortable in the body, maybe the legs extend to the outer edges of the mat. And if this is a lot, through the spine and through the low back, keeping the soles of the feet planted down onto the mat, or removing the bolster from underneath and coming to lie flat down on the mat. And coming into our breath, just observing our inhales and our exhales. Allowing the belly to soften. And feeling the soft, subtle rise of our chest with each passing breath. Maybe closing down the eyes or softening the gaze. And just observing any sensations that come up here. And staying here as long as you would like. Thank you so much for joining me in practice today. It was an honor to guide you. Namaste.